Hello, what's going on everyone? We have the patch notes for patch 12.22, and this is the last patch of set 7.5. As you guys can see from the preview image, we got some crazy stuff going around here. Essentially, almost everything is being buffed, Volibear's getting adjusted, and they're bringing back level up and high-end shopping. So, as you guys have heard already, the next set is coming on December 7th, and I made a quick preview video about it so you guys can check that out in your free time. But let's get back to the patch notes because I know that's why you all are here. So double treasure dragon. There are going to be 2 treasure dragons now. One during the wolf round. So instead of wolves, you get a second treasure dragon. And it's pretty much same thing goes as the other one. You could get 2 of the same one or any of the 3 variants. It could be different or the same. And then items from orbs have been reduced by 2 to compensate for the increased item count from treasure dragon. Now onto the large changes. So large, like the monsters attacking after this fun 3-week patch. Oh yeah, that's right. Because of Thanksgiving weekend, this is going to be a 3-week patch because it's going to take an extra week for them to get set 8 out just because of an American holiday. But first, let's go into the traits. So Bruiser got a big buff later in the game. Kind of stays the same early, like tiny buffs here and there, but the big one's at, I believe this is 8 Bruiser. Evoker's getting buffs across the board. Mirage Electric Overload is getting, wow, 100%. Everyone hated Electric Overload, but it might actually be really, really good now. Shapeshifter bonus max health on transformation is being buffed a tiny bit. Tempest, pretty much like a 5% buff across the board for the max health percentage. And then onto units tier 1. By the way, I will give my thoughts on all the changes at the very end. Let's just read over them first, and then we'll form an opinion after that. So all these are pretty small buffs from what it looks like. Leona's getting a small damage reduction buff. Malphite attack damage up a bit, same with his attack speed. Nasus, pretty sizable mana nerf. Okay, that's like a, what is that, 25% nerf? And then, or sorry, 25% buff. Sejuani max mana buff is being down 15 mana. Sejuani's Warrior's Wrath max health damage ratio up 1%. Talia flowing volley damage. This one is not that big. Can there be a Talia reroll? I highly doubt it, even with this. Maybe. Everything else is being buffed, though. So even though Talia got stronger, you know how, like, rising tides lift all ships? So maybe you're not actually that much better than someone else. Wukong attack damage, 55 to 65, and then armor and magic resist up by 5. So units tier 2 now. Braum getting an attack damage buff. Like, does buffing Braum's attack damage do that much, though? I don't really use him as like an attack damage carry, but I mean, it helps out a little bit, right? Jack's counter-strike damage is being bumped up by 25, 50, and 200 at each level. 40 to 50 for Lilia's attack damage, 10 additional armor and magic resist, and 0.5 attack speed. I did reroll Lilia once. It was pretty fun, but it was mainly from her spell, not so much her attack damage and attack speed, but she should regenerate more mana because she attacks faster now. Kiana max mana buff, 10%. Rel Iron Bond damage is being very small, very small buffs compared to everything else we've seen. Twitch Blast Potion attack damage ratio up by 40%. And then on to the next tier, we have Diana. You know, Diana kind of fell asleep this set. In set 7, she was a pretty viable carry. Set 7.5, not so much. Not so much. I don't think this is enough to bring her to the forefront either, because this is a very slight buff. Everyone else is getting much bigger ones. Plus, we already have the existing comps that are good. So I don't really think so. I don't really think this is enough for her. Namzi attack range is being buffed up a bit. That's funny because Namzi was actually really good because he always dodged Zyra ultimate, but now you have to manually place him on, or her, I think Namzi's a girl, on the 3rd row instead of all the way in the back. So if you want to dodge Zyra. You don't have to dodge Zyra. It's just like funny that Namzi did. Cannoneer Namzi, Tristana attack damage bonus being bumped up by a lot. Seraphine, Serenade of the Sea damage is being nerfed. And then Shield also being nerfed as well. They didn't put this in the image. Where's Seraphine here? I thought they were only buffs. Okay, whatever. Rakan attack damage buff. Silas mana buff. Silas burst damage being bumped up quite, whoa, the 3-star one's actually pretty big. That's like 80 damage, so that's around, what's 80 divided by 24? That's like a third, I think. Yeah, that's a third. So that's a 33% buff. Zary Water Shock laser damage is being bumped up a bit. You know, I actually think it's time for Zary reroll. The fact that she's a damage unit and has never been a carry so far this set, like a consistent one. I know there are those 1 in 50 games where someone wins with Zary 3 or something like that. Maybe it's less than that. I know those exist, and since we play this game so much and like we know other people who play the game a lot, like we've definitely seen her win before. I'm just surprised that a unit that only does damage is not ever been a carry this whole set. Units tier 4, Jace is not the main character of Arcane. Jace is the main character of patch 12.22. When is Arcane Season 2 coming out? Hecarim health damage being buffed a bit. Onslaught of Shadows damage up by 50 at 1 and 2, and then 300 at 3-star. Jace Mercurial Justice Transformation damage is being bumped up just like a smidge. A lot at 3-star though. The bonus armor and magic resist is actually being nerfed, and then the second cast center damage being buffed up slightly. AoE damage, whoa. Okay, so he does a lot more AoE now. So the single target stays around the same, AoE is a bit more. Healing, nerfed though. So he's less tanky, but does more damage. Nyla, max mana buff by 10, and then onto the augments. High-end shopping has been added back to the augment pool, same with level up. And okay, yeah, that's because they removed them before, but they're adding them back in. Small changes, like the violin I played when you got all mad at me for insulting Zippy's intelligence. What's in the Sea Stone? The 1000 Sea Stone stack secret reward now drops at 700 stacks instead. Did anyone ever find out what that is? If you did, let me know, comments below. Mage ability power modifier is being buffed at, is that 9 mages? I forget how high mages go up to, which is weird because I played mages a lot. It might be 8 mages. 8 or 9? I think it's 8. Rage Wing attack speed is being, no, it's 9. 3, 5, 7, 9, yeah. Rage Wing attack speed is being buffed up at 8 Rage Wing. Whisper stacking attack, sorry, that's not 8. Rage Wing's 2, 4, no, it's 8, it's 8. I keep forgetting, ever since they added the 3, 5, 7 trait breakdowns or trait thresholds, I always get confused on these big ones, whether it's like 2, 6, 8, they used to have 3, 6, 9, but now they have 3, 5, 7, 9. Whisper stacking attack damage and ability power is being buffed up a tiny bit at 6 whispers, so that's not that big of a deal. Augments, dummies don't prepare, trainers prepare you, and statues come pre-prepared. Preparation no longer works on summon units or non-champions. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Wow, this is actually like a lot to digest. No bug fixes in this section because it's the last patch, right? I guess it's not worth like investing in that. Wow, but Electric Overload, I'm probably most stoked about that because you can get 100% proc rate. That means every auto attack Yone does, you just put a Rage Blade on him. He's going to be proccing that against all the people around him. Nunu, whenever he gets hit, he's going to be proccing that the whole time too. The only one that doesn't benefit is like Deja because he's like in the back line. Wow. That's a lot because it does do a lot of damage. It's just like a weird build because it doesn't make sense with Deja that much. That's the only reason why it doesn't work that well, I think, at least. But I'm assuming like you get an Ionic Spark and like a Rage Blade on 2 different champions. Probably Ionic Spark on Nunu, Rage Blade on Yone. You're going to be pretty good, right? Yeah, I mean, it has to be. And then maybe a QSS on Yone because you want him in the front row. Oh yeah, when you build Yone with Mirage Electric Overload, don't do the RFC build because you want him to be in melee range. Shapeshifter, Tempest doesn't matter much. Bruiser got a pretty sizable buff. I guess if you see a lot of Bruiser, you want like Giant Slayer. Did we ever see the Volibear changes? I don't remember seeing him. Did they forget about Volibear? I don't see him here. And I don't see him here. I think they forgot about Volibear. Okay. Maybe I missed it. If I did miss it, let me know too. But Diana carry, probably not going to be a thing. Hecarim, just like generic buffs. Jace, okay, I'm ready to see some Jace smashing people in like the front lines and stuff. Lilia, I already think Lilia is usable in certain niche situations. Nasus, okay, maybe someone can do a Nasus build because the mana reduction is quite a bit, but he does get a mana lock when he's casting, I believe. That's so it really only helps for his first cast. I mean, he gets more cast up for sure, but um, maybe he needs more like damage or healing from his effect. Namzi, the Tristana buff seems pretty good, but I just never saw Cannoneer Namzi do that well. But there is like a vertical Cannoneer build that we've been testing out since the last meta snapshot, and I'll post a new one on this Friday. So that could be useful as well. Zary, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Talia reroll could work. Zary reroll, maybe not. Silas, for sure, good at 3-star. He's always been good at 3-star, but now he's even more worth it. So maybe if you're playing like any mage comp, like maybe the Soam or the reroll Astral build, he'll be pretty good. And then obviously for dragons, level up and high-end shopping can be good as well. Can some of these new comps, because a lot of things got buffed, right? Can some of them beat the dragon like late game board? We'll have to see, because these are a lot of buffs, but they are bringing back 2 augments, so it'd be interesting to see kind of like a clash of the titans, like all the newcomer comps that got buffed versus the old school dragon late game. But let me know your thoughts on the patch down below. I'll be coming out with a meta snapshot on Friday. I will be streaming in set 8. I'll stream some PBE hopefully, so tune in for that. Twitch.tv/BunnyMuffins LOL, and website's the same thing as well. But yeah, I hope to see you all later.